It hasn't. All right, there we go. So we are live now. So as you can see, my name is Robert, and this is Mystery Skype. And Nick, if you could turn on your lower third. And I think, Joanne, you're the facilitator
Yep,
for this one?
technically, but not the
So,
only expert in the crowd.
so if you want to go ahead and get started, don't forget to pay attention to the chat on the side.
Okay, so we're going to be talking about mystery Skypes, but I'd also like to consider us changing the vocabulary from mystery Skype to mystery location calls. That way, it opens up the door for us to not just be using Skype as our way of connecting, but also allowing us to use Google Hangouts as another way to connect with other classrooms. So for people who have never heard of mystery Skype or a mystery location call, basically what it is, in a nutshell, you're connecting your classroom with another classroom somewhere around the world in order to find out their mystery location. So it's set up with a couple easy steps. The first thing is you need to find another teacher to connect with. And I found all my connections through Twitter and other people's blogs. And you just kind of have to put yourself out there and say, hey, I want to do a mystery Skype with you. We want to connect. And usually people are really open to saying yes. So you and another teacher, you make up a day and a time that you would like to meet. And sometimes this part gets a little hectic or challenging with time zones and everything. But it usually ends up working out all right. And so then you set up the day, and then you need to prepare your class for the adventure they're about to embark upon. Because what they do is they have to ask yes or no questions in order to discover clues as to the location where the other class is located. So it's quite an adventure, and I know I am not the only expert in this group. I know Holly has done some mystery location calls. Has anyone else that's live in this group right now participated in one before?
No.
Oh, cool. So
I haven't either.
Okay, so it's really amazing, and it's a great way to get your classroom, to break down those walls and let your students see that there's other things beyond the four walls in your own classroom. So some of the ways that we've gone about this is, for my students, prior to our actual Skype call or our hangout with the other class, we set up jobs. Each kid picks a job that they would like to do in that call. And I'm going to go ahead and do a screen share, and I'll show you some of the jobs that my students have done before so you guys can kind of get an idea. All right. Let me open that doc up. I have a gazillion docs open at the moment. Okay, and I actually made a folder that I can share with everybody. So here are some of the jobs my students take. And I let them choose. I don't assign because I feel like they're going to enjoy the job better if they've chosen that position. So the call starts out with greeters. And those students they're responsible for saying hello, welcoming the other class to our room, and giving them a little bit of information about our class without giving away our location in any way. So they have to be very vague. And then the inquirers have perhaps one of the biggest jobs. They're the ones that get to be in front of the camera and ask the other class the questions. You kind of have to have organization of this part because if you let anyone ask a question, it can get a little bit crazy. I also have another group who they are the answerers. They're the ones that are responsible for finding the correct answer to the other class's questions and giving them their response. We have the think tank group, and those are our Google researchers, and they're the ones who, once we get a clue, they go online and they try and figure out if that clue leads us in any direction that will lead us to the final location where the class is located. And then we have the question keepers, and these guys keep track of all the questions we have asked, and they keep track of all the questions the other class has asked, as well as their answers. So remember, all the questions are yes/no questions. And one thing I should mention is the questions start out with a really vague question, like, are you located in North America? And then the questions, as you keep asking more and more questions, they become more narrow to define exactly where the class is. So if they do say, yes, we're in North America, then the next question is obviously led to, are you in the United States? And then, of course, it leads to the next question of, are you west of the Mississippi, or are you east of the Mississippi, and so on and so forth. So here are some of the other jobs: the geographers, the keepers of the clues, the runner, the photographer, the videographer, tech support, the person that kind of makes sure the connection's good, the audio's good. We have the sharers at the very end, when both classes have finally determined the location of each other. Then we actually can share some pretty detailed facts about our school and what we do in our classroom, and the sharers get to do that. And the closer just thanks the other class for joining us for the day. So that's kind of in a nutshell what it's all about. I'm trying to unscreen share. Did I do it? Okay, good. Holly, do you want to add anything?
I want to ask you to share that with all of us, if you can, if that's possible.
Absolutely.
Sorry I don't have my lower 1/3. I'm having internet connection problems today, but I'm going to show you, I'm going to screen share really quick what this looks like in my classroom. But I really want to learn from you, Joanne, how you're connecting. I know you're doing it on Twitter, but like the mystery Google stuff. But hold on, let me screen share.
Okay.
And I can also show a video, but I don't know if my internet connection will allow me today. And can you all see that?
Yes.
Yeah. Picture. So I'm going to put it in presentation mode. So here is a picture of my class in a second, as soon as it loads. Is it going to happen? Loading, loading. This is why I'm a little afraid to show a video or put up my 1/3. Let me go back and just get out of presentation mode and do it from small. So you can see, can you all see the kids around and standing up?
No.
No, we're not seeing your screen.
Oh, really? Let me screen share one more time, and if not, then I'll just let Joanne do this part of the sharing. You can see my screen because I see a big face in it. Now, can you see?
Now we can.
Okay. So I talk about the collaboration, and it's the collaboration portion of the Mystery Skype that is so important. And when we talk about collaboration, there are 4 parts. It's the heterogeneous group settings, which right here you see the teacher talking to the kids who are going to ask the questions. But the teacher is really becoming the coach, and she's sharing the authority. She's really just standing back in the class and letting the kids do all the work. And I don't know how much you can see, but my kids are on Google Maps. They have actual maps in front of them. They have maps with time zones. They have, I have like 7 different maps that they have, even though they have iPads, with time zones, with geographical features, with rivers, with all kinds of things, so they can deduce down through these questions where the kids are. So like Joanne said, if you ask, are you east or the west of the Mississippi? If we said west, a kid might ask, are you landlocked? And we would say no. And so they'd know that we are the 3 states on the West Coast because we're not landlocked. And that's how they deduce down to where that's happening. Anyway, I'm going to, I just wanted to show that picture, but I'm going to hand it back over to Joanne.
I'm going to go ahead and put my folder in the chat window with everybody that's live, but I'm also going to tweet out my folder that I created for mystery Skypes or mystery location calls. That way anyone listening. However, there is a form in there, and you're going to need to maybe make your own copy of the form. Don't try to use my form with your students, because then I'll get all their responses. Yeah. But I would like to add that there isn't a large group of teachers right now using Google Hangouts for this, and I would really like to try that option with a lot of other teachers. And so what I did last night is I went ahead and I made a Google community so that we can all gather together in one place. So I'll also put the link to that.
Wait. Joanne, you know there's a Mystery Skype Google community already that's quite populated.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Yeah, I'll go get that link in a second. It's got like a bunch of people in it already, although we're happy that you made it.
Awesome.
Can I add to something you just said? When you use your questions, that might not work for the other class's kids, but it's a good starting point.
What do you mean, my questions?
Like how you have inquirers, and then you have like you know, like sometimes depending on the class, I couldn't have a group of inquirers because they couldn't handle it. So it depends on the class.
I agree, and I've changed my jobs every single Skype call that I've made with other classes.
Yeah.
They always change. Everybody wants to be the one in front of the class. Like, they want to be that person that's talking to the other class. So I've tried to make as many jobs as possible that gets them in front of the camera, because that was the personality of my class last year. They were all showboats, so in lovingly way. But they all wanted that job, so I needed to do that. So you really do need to define your class jobs based on the personality of your class, because if you have a very introverted class, it's going to look very different. And every single call that I've made with other classes, I have seen it done differently. So there's not one way that you could do a mystery Skype call. There are 100 different ways. There was one that we did with another class that the rest of the class wasn't even there. It was during their lunch hour, and there were about 5 kids who stayed that wanted to do the call. So there was that, and that was very manageable because I have to tell you, sometimes during the call with all of the collaborating that's going on in the classroom, it looks crazy in the classroom. It is organized chaos. Everyone's on task. I've had visitors come in to my classroom during a call before, and they first walk in and they're like, what is going on? I go, just trust me. Go around and ask the kids what they're doing. And the visitors, when they left my room, they were like, wow, we thought there was total mayhem going on, but when we talked to each kid, they were actually doing their job. So, yeah, it's pretty neat.
Oh, shoot. I just put in, 2 links, and they're kind of together. One is that Google Plus community that is already populated with like 170 people. And the other one is a video of my kids doing it in action, like a minute video.
Oh, good. Thank you, Holly.
Sorry, but they're together.
Will you tweet those links out as well for the people who can't see our chat?
Sure.
Does anybody have any questions about...
Also, that link you posted there, Joanne, it only opens up to a spreadsheet.
Oh, okay. Let me try it again.
So I just wrote a blog post for Edudemic about mystery Skypes, and one of the things I say in it is that I think we need to look outside of mysteries, hangouts, whatever. And instead of it just being geography-based, what if you did like a mystery historical character? Or what if you, like if you teach history, or a mystery scientific concept? Like this mystery Skype is awesome. Now we need to take it to another level and include like mystery solution. Like what solution is this a math solution? Is this a problem for? And so don't get stuck on the geography. I'm hoping we can open the window now that we've done enough of these.
Hi, I'm raising my hand.
Oh, go for it.
Hi, I have a great idea too that I would like to implement next year, which is using the mystery Skype idea, but going forward with allowing my students to share poetry with other classrooms, like doing a very live poetry cafe with another classroom, or even going through and doing a book promo that maybe we'd like your class to read. Here's what we think about this book promo and stuff like that. So you're right. Tap on another idea.
One thing that my students and I created this year, and I have to give them credit for this, they invented Mystery Career Call. And it was a phenomenal experience. So it started out with one of my students has an uncle who works in the film industry in Hollywood. And so she said, well, can we do a hangout with him? We'd like to ask him questions, because we were making movies and stuff in my classroom. And so I said, why don't we kind of took her idea and my idea. I said, why don't we do a mystery career call? So my student and her uncle and I, we kind of collaborated together, and we set up a time to meet. And we ran it a lot like the mystery location call, but my students, instead of each doing the collaborating job on their own, we did more of a question. Everyone had to create a good question to ask the person who was visiting us. And they had whiteboards. We went low tech on this. We had whiteboards, and they held their whiteboards up when they had a good question, and I just scanned the room, and everyone got an opportunity to go and talk to our visitor. But it was really neat because the questions were different. They started out with really broad questions like, did you have to go to college for your job? Do you wear a uniform for your job? And then when they started to narrow in that he had to use technology for his job, then they had to figure out what type of technology. And then we discovered that he had to use a camera. And then we found out he was a cameraman. He's a cinematographer in Hollywood. And the kids were blown away. Once we discovered what his actual job was, then they got to actually have a discussion with him and ask him specifics about his job. We were able to do 2 mystery career calls, and both were set up by my students with aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, and it worked out phenomenally.
Very good.
Anyone have any other ideas of using Skype or Google Hangouts to connect with other classrooms beyond the mystery Skype and the mystery location?
Well, my turn. With the mystery location, I thought it would be fun when my students go on a vacation to tell me where they're going, but not to, well, maybe they don't even have to tell me, but to allow us to go with them on their vacation by selecting with the family one day on their vacation and then hooking up with them, and then we'll guess kind of where you are on your vacation. I thought that would be a cool way to learn with them as they go.
Can I give a tip that I just thought about when you said that vacation thing? I don't know why it came in my head. But my kids had one-to-one iPads, and when we would do a mystery Skype or Hangout, as soon as they saw the person that I was connecting with, so the name of the person, they looked them up on Google.
That happened to us too.
Yeah. So I don't know how to alleviate their problem, but they're savvy.
I made a rule. You can't Google their name, period.
Good rule.
And it happened in our second call. And, yeah, it takes one really smart kid.
You know, you could actually probably even give them an alias as well. Like at the beginning, you know, just come up with an imaginary name or, you know, just a name.
Well, it shows when you connect with them, though, like you're connecting with Robert Boss, you know, whatever your Skype name is.
Yeah.
That's how they would do it.
Okay.
And then I had kids because at the time I was teaching at a Jewish academy, or I wasn't teaching, I was the whatever, but that we had Jewish flags in the background. The other kids, as soon as they found out that we were like on the West Coast, got it down to San Diego Jewish Academy like that because of the things in the classroom. So we started taking stuff off the walls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have a California bulletin board in the very back of my classroom because I teach 4th grade, so we do California history all year long. And the kids are always like, make sure you angle the camera away from the back. They're really funny about that. But other classes start to get really tricky with their answers. The classes that get really good at the mystery location calls. One time I did a session with a class, and we had pre-created questions so that it was a little bit different in that my kids didn't have to come up with the questions on their own, but prior to the Hangout, they did have to do some specific research to answer these questions. Well, we were giving reasonable answers to these questions, but we had this other class. Like one of the questions was, name a fame or a well-known building in your area. And the other class found like the most random building.
Right. We don't do that, Joanne. I didn't notice your thing. We do yes or no.
I know, and I've done it. A different way every single time I've done it. And I usually just talk with the other teacher. How do you prefer to do it? Because this year it was new for me, and I was just kind of experimenting with all the different formats. But I do prefer the yes/no. By the way.
Me too.
Because it makes my kids do a little bit more thinking.
And I also have, in my inquirer group, I have a lead inquirer who, when you come up with a question, it has to go through that kid who takes responsibility for the type of question that's going out there. Because if we deduce that you're in the central time zone and they say, oh, are you in New York? It's not getting us anywhere. So I run it through one of my, don't tell anyone, but smarter kids. There aren't any in there.
Does anyone else want to add anything?
Yeah, so as far as your hardware goes, like, I mean, do you just basic webcam? Like, I mean, what do you exactly use for all this stuff?
I've seen people set up webcams and microphones. I keep things simple, and I use just my MacBook Pro.
Me too.
That microphone's been good enough for us. The camera's been good enough, and then I hook it up through my DocuCam, and then it's projected up so that everyone can see the class, which they love.
Okay.
And I'm going to use my Apple TV.
Perfect.
Now, on your Apple TV, do you just mirror? Are you just mirroring it, or that's what you're doing?
Airplane.
Airplane it. Okay, gotcha.
And some people have like a webcam, like shooting out at them. I'm the same with Joanne. I just use my laptop. They come up and ask the question and communicate in the laptop, but it's being shown on the big screen in the back of the room or wherever.
Gotcha.
I'm trying.
What?
Multitask to the max.
So what's really good about Mystery Skypes is, like Joanne said, then other things come out of it. So from that, we decided we wanted to teach U.S. history to, or in this case, 4th grade, California history to kids in Canada. And so Canadians taught us about their province, and we taught them about California history on Friday for like 20 minutes. So all of this stuff kind of comes out of this collaboration process. That's awesome.
I agree. And I just, I want to create more of a reflection piece next year. So I did create a form that I think, I mean, it's not my final form. Obviously, I'm always changing what I do. But I'll give you a little peek into it, and you guys can see what you think, and maybe if you want to add any ideas to it. Where did I hide it? Which one is it?
The reflective piece is the part we're missing too, Joanne. But I think sometimes the teacher gets crunched for time, so they forget that portion. But maybe that could be a Google Doc or something that the kids fill out when they get home.
And exactly, that's what I have. That'd be a great little I made a really simple form. So
awesome.
My screen? So yeah, they just add their name, their NIC number. What was your assigned role? What did you learn today during the mystery location call? Rate yourself on how well you collaborated with the class during the call. I have some students who weren't as excited about the idea, and so if they had to kind of rate themselves, I think it'll make them think a little bit more about how much participation they had in the project. And then, what type of job would you like for the next mystery location call? So maybe that job just wasn't the job for them, and it'll help me get an idea of what to plan for next time to make sure all the kids are feeling more involved.
So I'm sorry. So you just use Twitter to find people that are willing to do this?
I have, and if you go, of course, Cybery Man, he has a whole page.
Yeah, okay.
He has a page for that?
Got a page
Shocker.
for it.
Surprise, surprise.
And then Holly mentioned that community.
Yeah.
There's a Mystery Skype community, and then I'm creating the Mystery Location Call community, which might be redundant, but I wasn't aware of the Skype community on Google+.
No, it's not a Skype. It's a Google. It's exactly the same name as yours. So
is it really? Because I searched for one.
Maybe there's like one thing different. So when you sent me the request, I was like, oh, cool. I'm getting another request to enter the same community, but I didn't know they were different.
Well, then I can close mine if there's already a well-populated one.
So I wonder if this video would play because the visual of it is pretty cool, but I'm afraid. I gotta be
Try
honest
it.
with you.
This is a day of trying new things,
That's
right?
true.
That's
Is
what the
that
home spirit is all about.
Is that the video that you posted in the chat?
Yeah, so
I
it looks
wonder-
like it'll play right now. So let me go and screen share. And you know, Joanne, just a little side thought. Maybe you should take like 30 seconds of this video and start your demo slam with it. So because the visual, I don't know what you're planning to do. But anyway, you know what I'm talking about.
Good idea. Yeah.
Unless you have one. Okay. Where'd I go? Get so many tabs going.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think you need the beginning of this, Joanne. Can you all see it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Not now. If we can all go on mute, because there's no sound, so it's not putting it up at the top.
There's not?
No,
No.
everybody needs to mute their microphones because it's going to automatically show to the person that is got the sound.
Woo! Now we're going into the depths.
That's why I was afraid. I'll try it one more time. Tell me if it has sound. Can you hear? Oh, I guess so, because you're not answering.
No, no sound.
No? Okay. Anyway, it's there. But this last part, you don't need sound for, so let me just play it. These kids are talking and telling why they like it, but here, this doesn't need it. And this is a part, Joanne, I think you should show. It just shows how they're walking around and learning and that it's not like... And you can see the kids in the side. It stops. And I like the movement and how the teacher is kind of just standing in the back. I'm doing more because I'm the technical person, but she's not doing much. Anyway, that's the way I think that classrooms should look. I'm going to get out of that.
So are you one-to-one then, Holly?
That classroom is, but I also do it in classrooms where we're not one-to-one.
Okay.
Another thing that I really enjoyed was one time, one of my mystery location calls, we had a Today's Meet going with the other class. So there was back channeling happening during the whole.
That's rocking. Great idea.
And
What,
if you've never set up a Today's Meet, it's probably got to be the easiest thing ever. Just go to Today's Meet.
Question on Today's Meet, though. Like, you're teaching younger grades, right? So how do you deal with the... Because it says technically in the terms it's supposed to be 13 years and older. You just do it anyways?
I guess, well, I teach digital citizenship throughout the year, and my students are interacting with social media type resources through Edmodo and My Big Campus. So obviously you're not going to just set your kids loose on that. You're going to have to monitor it.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about doing it for my 7th and 8th graders, but I had seen that, and I was like, wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with that.
I would look into your acceptable use policy.
Okay,
For
so
sure.
I'll say this. I taught 7th and 8th grade before that class you saw where I was more of an administrator. At back to school night, I throw away all the stuff that we're going to do because they know the history we're going to learn. And I talk to them about the things that I'm going to do with them in social media. And once I talk to the parents and they understand that it's safe and why I'm doing it to teach them the lessons of digital literacy and digital citizenship, they let me do whatever. And so there's never any cry for, well, there was 13-year-old, whatever. And I have, after I discuss at back to school night why I'm doing it, I have them sign something saying they can use Today's Meet, they can use Twitter, they can use whatever, even though Twitter doesn't have a 13-year-old stipulation. And I let them know I'm going to be doing all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much wrote our acceptable use policy by looking at other things, and so that's just one of the things that I was looking at trying to incorporate.
I'm just wondering, sorry to interrupt the flow here. I came in late and not really sure what grade everybody teaches here. I teach grade 1 too, so I'm going to be new to Skype and GHO and all that sort of thing. And just wondering where we're at with age groups here.
I teach in Minnesota, and I teach first grade.
Okay, cool.
I teach fourth grade in California.
I teach fourth grade in California also.
Fourth and fifth grade special ed in Illinois.
I do middle school, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade history in California.
Okay, so we're all elementary. Good.
First grade, Minnesota. I have a connection for you for a California class that does a lot of social media.
Okay.
If you want, just follow me on Twitter. And
I think I do.
And Dustin, I've had some ideas of doing like it'll be a smaller mystery location, but more of a California region based for the California region study. What region are you in?
I'm in the coast also, but I'm almost in the valley. I'm in Ventura County, so we're like just almost near the Central Valley.
Be cool. Maybe we could do what mission are you the closest to?
Yeah, that's
There you go.
or mystery mission. Like you pick a mission and you got to tell the kids. Like the kids have to try and figure out what mission that is. That's awesome.
Ooh,
That would be good.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, good idea.
I'm gonna tweet that mystery mission idea.
Going in Edudemic next week.
There you go.
And wasn't there like a first and second grade? Yeah. So I'm no longer at my school. I'm now a consultant. But the first and second grade teacher who just came in, I have some great teachers who are doing social media first and second grade if you want to connect with anyone.
Okay, that sounds great. And then I'll just ask you later when this is over. I'll go back into Twitter and I'll find you and ask you there.
Yeah. And let me just put my email
Okay.
in the chat box.
Sorry, I'm totally new to GHO, and I was looking at the video and I didn't actually put my little name label at the bottom third here. Sorry about that. I'm Sasha Wise. Sasha, it's SWise_BC, and I come from Vancouver, Canada.
Okay, first of all, Sasha, put your email in the chat box because my kids love Canadians. Like, if you can do a mystery Skype with a Canadian, they freak out.
Who doesn't love Canadians?
Right.
That's the right answer. We love
We did
Canadians.
our first international mystery Skype,
Yeah,
and
they
thought
love
it was phenomenal. They couldn't understand why they were in the same time zone, though. It was very...
Yeah. Think of the thinking that happens there when you're like, wait, you're in the same time zone, but you're not. You know, like when you're in
not in the
fourth
same
grade.
country.
I have to say, I was going to say, we might confuse you because most of my kids are actually from China and Hong Kong and Taiwan.
No, that's perfect.
Oh, I love it. My students have even pretended to have Southern accents before.
Yeah, mine have. We have South Africans at my school, and we start the hello with them. Hello, we are from, you know. So we like to trick them too.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love fooling my kids.
I'll never forget our very first mystery Skype call where my students, the very first thing that the other class said was, "Are y'all ready?" And my whole entire class in the background was like, "They're from the South!"
That's awesome.
Hey, so it looks that this session's going to end about 11 o'clock, and I'm showing it's almost 11. Dustin was gracious enough to make a little document for back channel discussion, and he's going to put some of the links in there. So make sure you get that document, and then that way we can continue all this stuff that we've talked about.
Thank you, Dustin.
You're welcome. I'm getting it in there.
Sasha, you're first and second grade?
Yeah, I'm first and second, yeah.
Okay.
Well, this is like, I just jumped in and I was lost for most of the conversation, but I'm going to be doing a lot of reading about this and checking you guys out, and yeah, September's going to be an exciting time.
It is. My school starts next week.
Oh my lord.
Oh, my.
We're sorry.
We got 6 more weeks.
Yay!
Yeah, we have 3.
Oh,
All right, so I'm showing 11 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and end the broadcast. Thank you for everyone, and thank you, Holly and Joanne, for enlightening us with all your expertise and your knowledge. And we look forward to continuing this on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
All right,
Robert.
thanks, guys.
thanks. It was awesome.
Nice meeting everyone.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
Bye.